See, look, I'm out of the way.
Whoa.
This is where Steve Carell's big head goes.
Hey, Steve!
Ready?
I'm so ready.
Gotta count it down or anything, or you're just gonna match it up magically?
3, 2, 1.
Space Force! Space Force!
No.
All the spaces we can reference, we will do so later.
Maybe. I don't know.
So, Space Force, the new Netflix joint from Steve Carell and Office showrunner Greg Daniels.
Wow.
Must be a big deal, right?
Maybe.
These are heavy hitters.
They are. You got some decent names in this show.
Everybody's in this show.
Yep.
I think I saw you as an extra.
Yep, definitely. I'm there. Look, you guys, if you look in this scene right here, there I am.
Everybody's in this show. John Malkovich is in this show. John Malkovich, that's some big shit. Lisa Kudrow is in this thing. That's how you pronounce it, right? Kudrow?
Nope.
Anyway, I love her. She's great.
Yep.
Jane Lynch pops up every now and then, and Jane Lynch, in my estimation, is one of the funniest people on the planet.
Absolutely. Can't get enough of her. Ben Schwartz, who I've been talking about periodically lately, so...
It's a funny show.
It is a funny show.
Oh, I sense hesitation.
A quick synopsis. We're going to be snappy this time.
Let's do it. Let's
more
talk.
20-minute synopsises from us.
Synopses?
Synopsi.
Steve Carell plays General Mark Naird, who has just received his 4th star. And he is put in charge of Space Force, which is a new initiative that has been decreed by the president.
Which, if you guys haven't paid attention, is a thing that actually kind of happened, but haven't heard a whole lot of it since old Donnie Trump was just like, space.
So he's put in charge of Space Force. He's sent to a base in Colorado. We catch up with him like 6 months later after the initial introduction.
A year later.
A year later, even better. And so he's got an entire staff. He's got a base. He's got a whole life. His wife's in prison, played by Lisa Kudrow. And then his daughter's played by Diana Silvers.
I don't know. I've never heard of her before.
She's funny.
She's pretty funny. She definitely knows how to play an annoying teenager.
The angsty teenage daughter who was ripped from her life in DC and now is in Colorado. Who else is in this thing? I don't know.
Malkovich is the head scientist. So you've got Steve Carell is playing the general. He is the military side of Space Force. John Malkovich is playing Dr. Mallory, Adrian Mallory?
Yep, that's the one.
And he is the head scientist behind everything. So his goals are all very academic, science-focused. Naird's goals are, military.
Yeah. Mallory thinks with his head. Carell more with his, down there.
Pants.
Yeah. Carell's General Naird is not quite the bumbling moron that he played in The Office as Michael Scott. He's very good-hearted. He's somewhat intelligent, but also very much a straight-on military goon. It's all by the book. He thinks it's all instinct, I guess.
Yep.
He doesn't have time for you egghead scientists. His directive is to get boots on the moon by 2024. And he's doing it under very extremely difficult circumstances. He's getting sabotaged by the Chinese every which way he turns. And he's got spies potentially in his base, in his group.
And interference from his own government, POTUS. Never referred to as anything but POTUS.
Right.
They never even call him the president.
Nope, just POTUS.
It's always POTUS, which is weird to me.
I like it.
Know.
I like it. I like that we have to deal with the daily shit in real life like daily, right? It's nice to just have it kind of be off to the side. It's not, they don't say who it is, they don't really reference a name, they just call it POTUS.
They definitely wink and nod toward who it is, for sure.
Yeah.
But I would have at least loved them to just say, "Oh, the president."
Yeah.
It's like the fact that they're always saying POTUS, 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 and never saying president. It's like when you watch like The Walking Dead and everyone's just tiptoeing around the word zombie, and it's just like, just call it a fucking zombie.
I mean, they use it for like every official name. So they use FLOTUS for the First Lady. They use SecDef for the Secretary of Defense. It's just kind of their, their way of getting around the whole thing. Speaking of FLOTUS, I love he has to deal with like interference from the First Lady, who's sending over her design ideas for the Space Force. Spacemen is what they're called.
Yep.
That episode cracked me up, and they had like capes and stuff. And
oh yeah.
It was pretty funny. So anyway, that's kind of the premise of the show.
Yeah. It's pretty standard. It's 10 episodes, which I feel like is now the absolute norm for Netflix. Everything's 10 fucking episodes.
Yeah.
So, overall, the whole experience left me going, that was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a workplace comedy. Really, just kind of on a grand scale, right? In space instead of not in space, but in the military instead of in Dunder Mifflin, right?
Yeah.
Not quite as over caricature-y as that, but it has its moments.
It does. It's so my one hesitation before. I think it's a good show.
Yes.
It is definitely a funny show.
Yes.
I would also say that it is a tonally confused show. Because I feel like there are times where the tone leans real hard into like, kind of farcical, goofy workplace comedy, almost like Brooklyn Nine-Nine levels of like...
Yeah.
Things are ridiculous and fucking wacky.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here are like some serious moments out of nowhere where it's like...
Well, my wife and my daughter.
I feel like there were 3 different people who had 3 different kind of visions for this show.
Yeah.
And it changes gears very suddenly sometimes to the point where it was jarring.
Yeah. I can see that. Like you mentioned, it's got like kind of the farcical thing where it gets a little out of hand in a good way. Like the monkey episode.
Oh, absolutely.
The monkey in space.
That stuff is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
I enjoy when they did that because you can tell they were having the most fun with it. I mean, like seeing Steve Carell be able to kind of break out and have some fun with this character, like all the people having fun with it, that was really enjoyable. But then when they suddenly like rear it back and it's almost just like, well then, the show is also kind of a drama.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not drama heavy.
No, not at all.
I don't want to make it feel like it's, there's this distinct, like, oh, this is a drama scene, this is a weird... I guess the best way, I'm so confused at how to put it. The best way I would put it is there are certain scenes that I would watch, and if you were to show me a number of different scenes from that show, and then you were to tell me there's a scene where there's a fucking monkey in space, and you describe that scene, I'd be like, there's no way those are in the same show.
Right.
Those don't mesh. That sounds weird, But they're all there for better or worse.
Yeah. So for an example is, because of circumstances, Steve Carell's kind of a single dad. So he's got to come home and deal with the realities of, raising his daughter and helping her with her homework and things like that. I think that's a scene like that you're talking about, where it's not necessarily serious, but it's like, oh, he's a loving dad. His daughter needs some parental guidance, some attention, and so they insert a couple scenes like that right after the monkey's fixing a satellite in space, and you're like, oh wow, left turn. But that all being said, I think it's perfectly well worth watching.
There's some great moments in it. It's fun. I wasn't rushing to watch the next episode. I don't know. I would definitely love to see a second season. I would just like to see it kind of smoothed out a little bit better, because it feels rough.
Yeah, to me it feels like one of those shows where its first season's finding its way, second season it might launch.
Most definitely, because the talents they have.
Come on, that was a
there-
pun.
I mean,
That was a pun, you son of a bitch. Launch? Moon? Why do I even try?
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell's always
he's
great.
very funny. The big surprise for me, my favorite person in this was John Malkovich. I mean, I
He's
like
great,
Malkovich, but Malkovich is so into his character and so dead on with his character every single scene.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime he was on the screen, I was absolutely 100% invested.
Yeah.
When is John Malkovich not John Malkovich, but
Right.
he's decidedly Malkovich-y in this, and I adored it. It was just the best part of this show for me.
Absolutely. I'm going to pause this right for a second because there's a name of somebody that I need to look up quickly because I feel like he's an important character.
Ooh.
And I forgot to write him down, so...
Dr. Chan?
Yes. Wow, who's the actor?
Don't know the actor's name.
Yang. Jimmy O Chan? Jimmy O Yang. Jimmy O Yang? Jin Yang?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Chan is the character's name. Dr. Chan.
My favorite character is Dr. Chang, played by Jimmy O Yang, who you may recognize as Jin Yang from Silicon Valley, who is also one of my favorite characters in that show. And he's just, the dry deadpan humor that guy has is amazing. He's got great timing, just like I said, deadpan, really funny.
Yeah, absolutely. There are definitely a few characters in this who are so perfect at what they do. That's why I definitely hope this gets a second season. Because even though in the end I was like, this is a fun show, I will, it's not a show I think I'll ever sit and watch the first season again, probably.
No.
But I definitely want to see a second season, and I'm hoping they learn from the first and really get this, into a more cohesive, directed kind of show.
Show.
Yeah.